Good morning everyone. Today's game I'm gonna show you how to convert a small positional advantage into a win. Okay, this was a game played between Lujovic and Anatol Karpov in the year 1981 in the last tournament. Okay, white is having a bishop and a queen and black is having a knight and a queen. The difference between a bishop and a knight in this position. Now I think this position most of us knows that knight is better than bishop because this position is closed and white black knight can jump anywhere where bishop don't have so much of free movement. Okay, let us start analyze from this position. Now let us start analyze from this position. Okay, if black, now black have to play. For example, if black played knight f4 and white will knight f5, white will immediately reply with g4 and tries to open the position like f4 after bishop d2. Okay, bishop d2, bishop f2. Then you don't have much advantage in this position. So what black gonna do in this position? So the idea is now white is trying to play queen a7 and attacking g7 and h6 f7 pawn letters. So how we gonna stop this and what black should do to fix this knight on f5? Sorry. Okay, in this position Karpov played a very good move as g6. g6 first of all stopping queen movement to a7 and preventing f5 break in future. And main thing is after hg fg creates a passed pawn on the h file later, and after h5 this knight on f5 will be very strong and this knight cannot be challenged by any piece. So g6 is a key move in this position to make the position clear advantage. So here he played a3. He wants to open the position with b4 and try to activate this bishop on bishop e3. So Karpov didn't want to allow this and he played a5. He don't want to open the position. So b3. Now he played a good move h5. h5 is very good because you have to fix this pawn on f5, knight on f5, h5 and queen e4 and knight f5, bishop f2. We have to support this f2 pawn and queen d7 taking control on the open file. Now there is no open file, but no control, no square for the open file, but soon after king c7 and after queen c6 exchange, this knight will create some problems for white. Okay, so he played a4. I think a4 is a pure positional mistake. These pawns are all fixed. Even though this pawn is fixed on the opposite color of the bishop have good movement, but there is no break to the bishop and these pawns are stopping all the movements of the bishop. And we all used to know that our pawn structure should be fixed on the opposite color of the bishop such that our bishop will have much movement, but in this type of positions we cannot fix the pawns on any side. We need to open up the files for our bishop. If we even if we fix the pawns on opposite color of your bishop, the knight does better than bishop because bishop don't have much squares. So I prefer if king c2, the position can be still unequal because black cannot create an entry point in this opening. So after a4, black played king c7, giving the invasion of queen h8 to enter queen d3, and queen d1 check will be very decisive. For example, let us see after queen a8, queen d3, queen a7, king c8, queen a8, king d7, queen b7, king e8, queen b8, king f7, queen b7, and knight e7. Now queen d1 and queen b3 will be a big problem for white. So after king c7, queen c2, and queen d8. Queen d8 is a very good move, not allowing any counter chances for white queen or bishop. Now black is also threatening g5 to create an entry point for the black queen. So he played king c1 and g5. Now the idea behind g5 is to create a passed pawn, like g5 if g into h4 and g3 creates a passed pawn, and this h4 pawn later falls. So fg5 I think is the first move, or even after g5 you can directly play. If we won't take fg5, you can play g4, and later you can play h4 and g3. So after fg5, queen g5, king c2, and knight e7. Now black is threatening to exchange the queens and fix this knight on f5 and bring the king to g4 and win the g3 pawn. So white don't have any entry, like after queen f5. Right, if white takes queen into f5 and e into f5, and this e5 pawn will fall down, and later after king d2, king e3, black can simply sit knight g6 and prevent king not coming to f4, and all the squares of e4, f4, g4, h4 are under black control. King e6 and king d6 wins the e5 pawn very easily. And so he played queen h7, I think, which is okay. King d7. Okay, after queen g6 I think is little simple. Queen g6 check, queen g6, knight g6, bishop e3, king d7, bishop g5, and knight x e5 is advantage, but maybe this bishop will become little active than what it was. So I think Karpo didn't allow this variation. So after king d7, queen e4, queen f5, and queen d3 check, king c6, queen into f5, e into f5, bishop e3, knight g6. So e6 and king d6, bishop g5, king into e6 with, I think it's a clear advantage. Now played king d2. I think Karpov played a very good move by f4. f4 not only allows to create a passed pawn, it fixes this bishop on g5 to guard this f4 pawn. So after gf4, king f5 will be a easy way to win this game. But here he played h4. I think it is little dubious. King e3, h3, king f3, king f5. Now he played king g3, knight into f4. If bishop into f4, h2, king into h2, and king into f4 wins the endgame. So he played bishop d8 and knight e2 check, king into h3, knight d4, bishop b6, and knight into b3, supporting these two pawns, and the king is little faster. So bishop d8, king e4. Now this endgame is very simple for me. King g4, king d3, king f4, king into c4, king e4, king c3, knight, bishop f6 check, king c2, bishop e5, c4, king e3, c3, bishop f6, knight c5, king e2, king b3. Now Dvorak feels that he can resign this position after losing the a4 pawn. Black can easily win this game. So this is how you have to convert a small positional advantage into a win. We have to compare the pieces, which is better, bishop or knight, and how to convert into a win, and how to take a small positional advantage into a win. I hope you enjoy the game. See you in the next class. Goodbye.